Mrs. Turner, will you join us? And the president, and Mrs. Fraser.
Sorry, I'm little. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Just got closer, but thank you all so much. Thank you.
Yeah, got some snacks for you over here.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you all very much. Enjoy
Okay, we're good. Okay, we're good.
Since we are in the mood of the Floresville Peanut Festival Association, we're going to move on to new business 3A.
And I want to go ahead and move to approve the
So I'm waiting for the president to get back in.
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Sounds good. Okay, moving on to item 3A, consideration action to approve street closures for the Floresville Peanut Festival for 2019. I already have a motion on the floor. Is there any comments that you would like from us, Mrs. Frazier? Okay. A second. I have a motion on the floor by Mrs. Cantu, a second by Mrs. Martinez. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you.
All right,
Have a great evening.
congratulations.
Thank you. And good luck.
All righty, thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 2B, Floresville Volunteer Emergency Medical Services, funding for EMS equipment. Mary Hernandez.
Good evening. Thank you for coming tonight. First of all, after having a meeting with city manager a couple weeks ago, she brought to my attention that there is a fund out there for emergency services, and I'm here tonight trying to see if we could get help with that for our equipment, our vehicles, and maybe maintenance for our equipment itself.
Now, Mrs. Turner, what is the process in this, since we've never done that
Well,
before?
this is sort of new. So when we met with Mary and we were talking about some other things that's coming up on the agenda very soon, she said that they expressed to me that they have some issues right now pressing in reference to emergency repair for equipment. And as you know, and I believe I know Mr. Ortiz and Councilman Gerard and Councilman, they approved a couple of years ago that we would actually have set aside money for the fire department. It's a total of $30,000 that we currently have. And so what she's asking is that what you have in your report is actually the information that we do have $30,000, but you would have to direct me to expend these funds to EMS. The fire department has not requested any of those funds, and so we plan on budgeting another $10,000 so that whatever she can tell me about the lunch.
Well, it's okay.
But I needed you all to approve that, and then I can go back and talk to the attorney about doing a budget amendment to make it change from fire department to EMS, and maybe even going forward, regardless of whatever happens with that, we can decide to make it an emergency fire/EMS emergency repair, but I needed to bring that to your attention.
Now, since it's not an action item.
It's not. I just need to know if you have any consensus or anything in reference to that. Is that right, Mr. Attorney?
You can just give your thoughts, please, if you can, Mayor, City Council, in
Miss-
regards to the issue.
I have a question.
Yes.
Ms. Turner, when we gave them the money, we gave it to the fire department.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
what, do the fire department, it doesn't matter to them if we switch it around, or?
The fire department has not requested any funding for emergency vehicles to date. We have paid them their portion, but I believe that the chief of fire is here.
Yes, we do have some bills. At this time, we got all the trucks that were checked, and we do have some great things that we want to Mr. India.
So how is this gonna affect?
There's a total of $30,000, and so I don't know what his bills are. Do you know what your bills are?
Ours is-
They're not nowhere close to 30,000.
I mean, there's ours.
Okay.
Is it more than 30,000?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and how about you, is it like, can y'all split it or?
It'll be like, for us, like, depending on what this, what equipment needs repairs, or what vehicle, what it might need, what EMS truck might need something, it just depends what it is. So right now, there's nothing near close to 30,000
Okay.
as repairs nor, for our equipment.
I have another question by Mrs. Martinez.
Henrietta, was this budgeted last year for them?
Yes.
It budgeted for the fire department.
Okay.
And so what we budgeted, Mrs. Martinez, was every year we put aside $10,000 to go towards maintenance, and so it's built up to $30,000. But again, I said, to date, they have not asked for any funding, and I told her, she said she has this issue in front of her, that I wanted to bring it to you to tell me direction if you want to split it, you want to have her fix it and pay the bills, not to exceed a certain amount. I'm not quite sure, but I need to make an amendment because this was earmarked for the fire department.
So just to clear up, it was set aside for the fire department, but with consensus, it could be split up into EMS as well as fire department.
Yes, ma'am, and your attorney is nodding yes.
So how much, excuse me,
No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
so how much, do you know how much bills do you have, Toby? I mean, more or less what we can help you with?
Maybe
5,000?
10, maybe 10,
10, okay.
10,000.
And how about you, Mary?
About 5.
5?
5,000.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'll make a comment after Councilman Jimenez.
Okay, one of the questions is, since y'all work the city, county, different parts of everything, have y'all asked, the county, see if they could start a little fund with y'all, so that way
If they
y'all
have a
could get a
special
bigger
fund,
portion?
not that I've not approached them. This just came to me because there was this funding. I've never asked the county if they had any kind of special funding for, EMS or fire. No, I have not.
Well, maybe when we do the budgeting, we can split it up or,
Yes, and so, the fire chief said 10,000, and the reason why we were budgeting 10,000 every year was because that's what he anticipated as he needed it. And so as we go forward, we need to be able to do that. So that's why I said the $30,000 mark at this point. And so I just needed to say, if you want to change it to say fire and EMS based on need, but I just needed to bring it to your attention so that we can be able to
Or
address it.
can we split it 5 and 5?
No,
Well, to be,
We'll talk about that later.
there's 30 in there, but to be fair to the fire department, we had always anticipated and budgeted for them to have equipment repair to the tune of about $10,000. EMS has expressed a need that they need to have, that they're having some budget shortfalls on their end, and to ask, can we look at that funding? And at that point, it hadn't been tapped into, but now it looks like it needs to be 10,000. And so whatever you deem appropriate, if you so deem so, I'm just asking for direction, and then I'll go back and make it all legal and everything, but we need to have this discussion.
Okay, one more question.
Mary, have y'all ever, and Toby, have y'all ever approached the county? Because y'all do service all the county.
Yes, we do, yes. No, like I told Councilman Jimenez, no, I have not.
Because that would help y'all too. I mean, we're willing to help y'all.
Yes, exactly.
But
I think if we get to the point that we got something that was very excessive,
that would go.
that was something, that's a road that we have to go down as well.
Okay. Thank you, Mary.
Unlike Mary, we cover the city. The equipment that we have covers the city.
Maybe for the city.
So that's the equipment that's getting repaired and updated and certified. That's the money we ask for,
I don't have a problem with it, Mary, as long as the fire department and y'all agree, I have no problem.
you.
I'd like to see if the two departments can meet with Mrs. Turner, get kind of a ballpark figure
Yes,
of what it is, and then the next meeting, go forward with it, if we can take action on it.
Yes, ma'am.
And then,
So that way we can cover.
yes, so following that, if you also can give me the invoices and or quote or something like that, because I need to prepare for the next meeting.
Yes.
And we put on the agenda, and there'll be a CNA action so that we can be able to address that. Is that fair?
Thank you.
Yeah, one more thing.
Yes, and the good thing about this is that years ago, council did arrange for this line item for $10,000, and it is good because whenever an issue comes up, you know, there are funds, and that's a good thing about it, that there's some council members that plan ahead and see that vision, you know, that there's a necessity for emergencies as it is. But at the end of the day, there will still be funds there for the fire department and for the EMS.
Thank you.
And I thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No.
No, it's this discussion.
We're gonna wait for Henrietta to bring us.
Yes, we'll bring it back on the agenda for next meeting, being the 27th. The 27th, for an action item, I'm going to provide you with the invoices and your quote for the repairs. Is that okay?
No. We're moving on to item 2C. Item 2C is next, the USDA opportunities. We have Mr. Jake Shearer.
Yes, how many agency?
You mean D?
Yes.
Yes, we have with us today Mr. Jake Sheeran. He was a USDA director for 30-something years. He's now retired, and we met with him last week. Henrietta and myself and Raul Gonzalez, who does our rate studies for us, brought Mr. Sheeran, and he wants to just to give you a part of his wealth of information, and we enjoyed speaking with him, so.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Mayor, Council, thank y'all for inviting me, or Henrietta has invited me. I worked for USDA for a long time. When I started, I had hair, and about 7 years ago, it was time for me to retire. Do I have a 15 minutes, 5 minutes? Because I usually get winded sometimes.
You're about 5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay. Currently, I have a contract with Communities Unlimited, which they have. Communities Unlimited is a nonprofit organization that works with communities such as yourself, Floresville, and they've helped y'all in the past with the water and wastewater loans grants that you received through USDA. And they got me on board, and my contract expires on September the 30th. And they gave me some projects, mostly they're all in the South Texas area or South San Antonio. And Floresville is one of the projects that was assigned to me. I met these two ladies a couple of weeks ago, Henrietta and Helen, and I'm going to be kind of helping them out with the application that you have with USDA for, I believe it's 2.4 million or 2.5.
And that is on the agenda tonight. We'll have some presentations later, but that's on the application that he's speaking of.
Okay, just 2.5 million. Now, I don't work for USDA, it says USDA, but so whatever comes out of my mouth, don't be calling USDA, whether Mr. Sharon said this or that. But a lot of things have changed in the 5-6 years. But anyway, I will be assisting the city, and they've already got the engineer has already submitted the permit engineering report, and it's been approved. And the government year on September 30th expires, that's their fiscal year. So what I'm hoping that around July, maybe no later than August, that this project is funded. And at this point, we don't know if it's all loan, all grant, or 40-40, or, I mean, not 40-40, but 40-60. But that's going to be determined down the road, and that presentation, when it does come about, will be offered to the council, mayor, and then y'all make a decision on that. But at this point, my role is to kind of help you all out And this is the first time I've been to, well, second time I've been to your community. And I enjoyed the visit. And I was greeted with like open arms by Helen and Miss Henrietta, and like I've known them for a long time. And it's always good that when you want to help somebody, that they're willing to accept the help. I've gone to some other communities, and Mr. Sharon, thank you, but we've done this before, and or even the engineers, we've done this before, and never fails. There'll be a document or something sent in, and it was done incorrect. And the USDA gets blamed a lot of stuff that it takes a long time to process these projects. We have a checklist, you all have a checklist, and really you just follow the checklist and things will go smoothly. So with that, I just want to say hello to y'all, that you'll be seeing my face, and hopefully we will get this project funded before the end of the fiscal year.
Thank you. And Mayor, may I? Yes. And so I just want to let you know that this is a consultant, and he has a wealth of knowledge that is being provided to us at no cost as part of the USDA. And Mayor, you have been working with RD Apply. I think that makes Helen's eyes roll up in her head. But it's a new process. They're making it more electronic rather than paper. And so he's here to navigate all of those different things. And Raul comes on the money side. He's the money man, and you'll see Raul again. But he's here to help us with the paper side and all the documents that you have to sign, Mayor. A lot of them are now more electronic than before as we navigate this. But again, we don't know how much is going to be grant or how much is going to be available until they approve it. But we made some of the basic preliminary approvals, such as the preliminary engineering report. And so those things are becoming forward. So that's what he's here to help us, along with Betty. I still get Betty, but he gets to hold our hands and make sure that we get through this process. And so I just wanted to introduce a new player that's here to help us. And he allowed me to pick his brain, and so as we're looking at some other things, and housing was another thing we wanted to talk about, was housing. They'll help us with some housing. And I said housing, he goes, oh yeah, you can call so-and-so. And then I mentioned, okay, we could get something with the farmer's market. Oh yeah, that's so-and-so down in there. And so even a grant that we can work with the EDC. So we're going to pick his brain. He comes at no cost, but I'm going to definitely get our money's worth as well as the USDA. So I just wanted to introduce him, and he was willing to come down. And I want to say thank you again for coming.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
We also want to thank you for making things easier.
And your timing is impeccable. Thank you.
And we love that, no cost.
At no cost.
No cost to us. He gets paid, but just not about us.
That's what I like.
Moving on to item 2E, maintenance agreement for the sports complex, put on by Mayor Pro Tem Cantu.
Okay. Okay, this item was put on the agenda so the citizens will know that we are listening and we are communicating with Ms. Turner, and she is making notes of the citizens' concerns. So that's what I have to say about this. I've checked the fields, and to me the fields look good, so
Is there any other?
unless anybody else has any.
Yeah, I had some concerns. I know that when we brought up the contract, I had mentioned that 2 times was not gonna be good enough to maintain the fields, especially during baseball season. And we've had a lot of great concerns, from the citizens, the baseball players. The grasses had been too high. They weren't trimming around, in the areas, the sticker burrs. Now we're gonna start another season now on the other side, on the football side, and I know y'all aren't part of that, but y'all are part of the baseball. Y'all are part of the baseball agreement. So we need to see what we can do. That way you could come more times during the baseball season when they're actually playing, because the grasses were really high. Now we've had to hire another person, and I guess since then, the grass is now lower, like Councilman Cantu said, but we were having issues prior to that.
Any other comments by the council?
Just to say that Part of the agenda, part of the budget was to hire full-time person out there. We had a little staff transition I was saying to earlier. We now have someone out there who's really good, hopefully, it's known, I think he's been maybe 3 weeks, to help us try this in between. And I think we met with the consultant, the landscaper, Henry, and Jerry is his name, I can't say his last name, I'm sorry. But we've met, we've tried some different kind of things. We've actually taken a lawnmower from the streets department, who's not using it at the moment, so that they can cut some kind of things as a zero turn, so they're really happy about those things. So we're really trying to make our best effort. Thank you so much. We are listening to the complaints and trying to address them. Chaz is here, and we should be feeling ready for the competition on Saturday.
Yes. Yes, so Saturday we have, of course, the tournaments that last all the way till next weekend. The fields are ready to go. We fixed some of the problems that were occurring. Like it was just transition of employees and things like that. But for the most part, the field's been kept up as best as we can get them.
Thank you.
I just have a comment.
Let me see, we start with Ms. Jimenez and then we'll go down the line.
Yes, I think it has been unfortunate that we have had some turnover, and I think, once we have some stability with our own city staff, we'll have some clear expectations put into place as far as what's expected from our contractor and what is expected from our city employee. Considering where we are now from where we were last year, we are in a much better place. Considering where we were in January to now, we are in a much better place. And as everything does take time, with time it'll get better.
Mr. Jimenez.
Okay, Chess, where do you fall in place with this, with the contractor, with city manager, or what are the fields?
I oversee the fields in the back, so.
Okay, well, my thing is that I don't like it when citizens come up and approach us as council people and say, well, you know what, this is looking really bad, this is this, or whatever. It seems like you would address the contractor or whoever needs to be addressed, so to make sure that maintenance of the fields is staying up to date. City manager, consult with them.
I agree.
And then let it be the last result to come to us.
I agree, and we had several meetings with them. They decided to go to y'all. I deal with it on both ends. My son plays for the league, so me showing up there, I get the most grief out of anybody. So we did approach, we did talk to Henry. We had several meetings with Henry as well to try to get him out here, but there was other stipulations. Rain was a big factor this year.
Yeah, but it rains every year. That's.
But the weeks that he did come,
baseball.
I understand, but we did have some other stuff that come in, but it was addressed. When the field starts growing, there's nothing else we can do. So in the contract, we didn't want to cut with the lawnmower we had, because we didn't want to contaminate the field with the sticker birds. So we stayed back away from the contract and we waited for him to come.
So they're the only ones that have a lawnmower to cut the, is that what you're saying?
They do, we have a lawnmower there, but our lawnmower that we have is not for the infield. It's not there, it's gonna,
It'll get ruined.
yes, it hurt the grass. So that's what it's a first time for all of us. This is a first time for everybody being out here doing this. So, there's going to be some hiccups, and that's what I told the baseball people. And they agreed to volunteer to help us, but when they came down to it, you don't see none of them here.
Yeah, but can I?
Yes.
What I'm saying, we hired a contractor specifically to maintain 3 fields, and we're paying pretty good money for it. But do you feel that they're doing their job, or they're not doing it, or what's happening?
For the most part, he is.
What are we gonna do to fix the problem?
Well, that's what we did. We got a lawnmower, so we talked to Henry, and we said on the days that he can't come and we think it needs to be cut, we're gonna cut the fields ourselves. So we got a lawnmower that's gonna be able to do it. He checked it, we all checked it, we said it's good enough to do it. So we have 2 guys in the back instead of 1 now, where we're gonna be able to contain that area and the whole park back there in the back. Because football is approaching, and we don't want this to continue with it.
So that lawnmower's gonna cut the football field and the baseball field?
Yes. So every
We are
time
gonna
that,
contaminate both fields, because there's a lot of sticker birds in both of them.
No, just, we have sticker burrs with just one of the fields. One of the fields is a big problem, and that was the field that we had a lot of issues with in the beginning, with the hogs eating the seeds and everything like that. So we talked to Henry as well, Sean as well, to reseed that whole field, and the other football field, the first football field as well. So that lawnmower is just specifically cut for the football field and the infields. We're not using it to cut anything else. So we'll be holding it at the event center, and we only bring it out as needed. And that's what we talked to Henry about, to cut whenever he can't make it, or if it's not his time to come, we're gonna cut before he gets out here to keep it low. And to try to get those sticker burrs out of there.
Okay. We are asking that you keep an eye on this and make sure that it gets done, so that other parents don't come back, as well as the council has mentioned. Mrs. Martinez, you have a comment?
Yes, so my question is just, everything is okay to, so we won't have to be approached at Dairy Queen, H-E-B, or Walmart?
Yes.
Are the comments in the Wilson County News?
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's not only y'all getting the grief, we're getting the front of it too. So we're doing the best we can to make them happy as well. So we've been working with them nonstop. So if they do approach us, I mean, there's nothing I can do about that.
You're on the city council.
Yeah. Mr. Ortiz.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I can understand people coming to the council meetings and saying their frustration. That is their right. We have no right telling them not to come. And we are here as council members to listen to everyone and everybody, regardless. We must hear them. I mean, it is just like Troy, when Mr. Tackett came over here and he had some concerns. That's fine. But like, there was some statement here that it's best if it doesn't come to us, but still we must hear. But y'all are in that position to help us out. And I like to be fair, so if Mr. Riojas wants to say something, he has probably the floor. If he doesn't, that's fine. Yes, ma'am.
I don't think that's not necessary. I don't think it's an action item.
No, it's not, but what I'm saying is if people make remarks toward your job and your stability, what you do, I think that individual has to come back and say something, what's going on. But that's all I have to say.
Well, like I said, we are communicating with Ms. Turner, and she is making notes of these concerns. So this item, that's why it was put on the agenda. So the citizens will know that we are.
Which part is being made?
Yes, and we want to work with them.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Moving on to item 2F, spectrum update, and I'm gonna turn that over.
Is that okay? All right, so I did make some phone calls, and we should be receiving, our attorney should be receiving something in writing as some type of agreement to talk about funding, and you should receive that within next week. So hopefully at our next meeting, we can tell you, or your attorney can bring to you what they're offering. I was able to confirm that the mayor, I think it was yesterday, Mayor, I'm sorry to get my days mixed up, that we were we did receive a $10,000 franchise fee, was deposited, came in the mail up front, and later had to take the front, put it in right quick, and so we were able to say yes, that we did receive a $10,000 franchise fee, with other ones to come. And so we should be having and bringing this to a closure. I can imagine that sometime in July we'll be able to close that item and take it off the agenda.
I just didn't know if that was a quarterly franchise fee payment, or how often we will give those, but that is completely separate from damages.
It is.
Yes, yes, but we were talking about spectrum, so I can see that in there, right? Yes, so we're going to see if it is a quarterly check. We looked at the check, it didn't say quarterly or annually, and so we'll keep check to see when it comes again, and see if it happens another quarter, or we just get that one-time annual fee, but it is a franchise fee. We did ask them that when we were discussing with them, but we are taking the minimum amount, and so that's something that we may want to look into further, is actually to move it up. But the volume has increased, And so you have to, you know, weigh it, because I don't know if if you read those bills, like so many different taxes, and if you have Texas and California, and there's something else. So because of the volume, we are seeing more money, because previously I looked at a mayor's like $2,000, and so we went from 2 to 10.
Right. Thank you so much, and we should, hopefully, Lord willing, by the end of the summer, have something settled.
I believe so. We were able to narrow down the list, and it was narrowed down
It's narrowed.
remarkably. So I think we will, last time, Mayor, we actually discussed the number, but we didn't bring it to the council because we're still in the stages of trying
Just
to.
needed to have something in writing. It's all been verbal, and I just needed to reduce it to writing and send it to our lovely attorney. Mr. King is not available, actually, she was on vacation last week. And so we're hoping that we can actually find something and bring it to you by the end of the month, something that you can bring to you, and it may have to be a executive session because it's talking about negotiations.
Yes, ma'am. We'll do that.
Thank you. Moving on to item 2G, our audit committee.
Audit committee, okay. As a reminder, the audit committee is made up of the mayor pro tem and Councilwoman Martinez and Councilman Jimenez. So those are the three lovely ladies that will be on the audit committee. The firm is ready to go. Michael, he's coming all the time. He can attend the audit committee meeting on Tuesday, 18th at 5 o'clock. If hopefully that's ever accessible, because we need to post that tomorrow. We have confirmed, so we're good. And then they will be presenting also.
Is that at 6 or at 6:30, Mr. Chairman?
6:30. We can make it 6:30. We can make it 6. I mean, that day, we come at 6:30. 6:30, okay?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll post it for 6:30.
Yeah.
6:30 p.m. And he'll be presenting on the 18th to you, and just kind of FYI, he'll be presenting on the 19th to the EDC, which will give you my numbers, my final numbers that you have as I present, and then he'll be back on the agenda based on to come to present you on the 27th, so that the entire council will have to be able to do that, and I'll present the budget that night as well.
So, Ms. Turner, on the 18th, he's gonna be finished with his audit?
Yes, on the 18th, he's ready to come and present to you all his final numbers of the audit.
Yes, he will present them to the committee first, and then.
Yes, he brings them to the committee first that week, and then he brings it to the actual full board itself. It is a meeting we have to post, so anyone is invited, council as well as the public is invited as well. We'll have it here at 6:30.
Are we able to get a copy of the report before we meet with him?
No, he brings it with him. He doesn't supply it to me.
He doesn't supply to anybody until he comes.
Can you ask for it ahead of time, so that way you won't be looking at numbers at this?
I will ask.
Well, the purpose of the committee is to get it presented to the committee first before it comes to council. So that's usually not the policy of getting it beforehand.
I think he's saying to get it to the audit committee.
For the audit committee.
Right, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I will ask, historically, they bring it with them, it's not something they've given even to staff as well, it's kind of like, we all sit there and go, okay, thank you, this is a gift.
We also like to prepare as much as.
Yes, so I will see if Michael, because he's coming, if he can present, bring us the actual, get it to you electronically, I know some people prefer to have it electronically, or something.
Yeah, because what's the purpose of having a committee if we're all gonna get the same thing at the same time? You know, purpose of a committee is to oversee what's going on, if there's any problems that need to be resolved, or.
The committee will get it on the 18th, and then 10 days later, the council will get it on the 27th.
Right, so the committee has an
The
opportunity.
committee has an
But I
opportunity
wanted
to
it before.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
So
saying.
I will see if he can provide those to you electronically before the meeting.
That's not a mess.
Even if it's the day of the meeting earlier, you can read it.
Okay.
I just want to ask if, because I'm not sure completely what the function of an audit committee is, other than to review the audit with the auditor. But
In the charter, there is a requirement to have an audit committee to receive the audit.
But I'd just like to, because in the past, since I started working here, they do the deficiencies, but then the person that's responsible for fixing that deficiency doesn't get any response. So I'd like the opportunity, when the auditor meets with the audit committee, for the deficiencies going back to the person that caused the deficiency, and then have an opportunity to fix it before it becomes final. Because what I've seen in the past is it's finalized, and You know, if I made a mistake, it's already finalized, I can't go back.
But you have to remember, as you know, that they audit the former year, not the current
Right.
year. And so in auditing, they have to report to the elected body as their response, and then they charge the city manager, which I have to tell you that the deficiencies are talking about different things. But this is at the elected officials level.
Right.
They don't bring it to staff level.
Yeah, because this audit has been unusual. I've been asked a lot of questions, but then they don't get back to me.
Yes, and they're gonna have a special, because the unusualness of it is that because we have to have a single audit because of the USDA, and this year we have 2 single audits, because it's based on the funding that we
Yeah, so I
receive.
don't know. if-
So they'll be able to give that to you.
Yeah.
And they had some new auditors that probably asked them questions. But
Miss
it
Al-
needs to be this executive level.
Excuse me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Ms. Allen, so you think they're shorthanded or what?
No, I don't know that. I'm just saying, in my experience as an accountant, I've always had the auditor, when they write the deficiencies up, they go back to whoever did that deficiency and give them a chance to explain before it becomes a final audit finding.
Yes, because
So I've never had that opportunity since I've been here with these auditors. That's all I'm saying.
And also, you're not the first employee to tell me that. I've had several employees, lawyers tell me that that's why I'm thinking, are they shorthanded or,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe that's a question
To ask
But
them.
that's a question that you definitely ask. Unlike what he's had on this account, I believe he said maybe over 5 years. He's been on this account for some time, and it could be in the approach for this audit firm, but thank you.
So you're set for next Tuesday at 6:30 for the audit committee meeting?
Yes, ma'am, it will be posted, and I will send you an email this evening.
Yes, Mrs. Martinez.
So what Helen is concerned about, Henrietta, you could take care of what she needs.
No, what Helen is saying is that they come to her, they ask us a question, the auditor.
Yeah, I
And
understand.
then they make their
because-
but they make their comments, to you. They never come back to her and say, well, Helen, I noticed that this file was missing. Why is the file missing? She could say, well, the file's missing because it was at Betty's, but they've never done that. Not just this time, but they've never done that.
And can they do that? Because I understand what Helen is saying, because if there's something that she needs to learn that is not, or that she did wrong or right, whatever, I think that she probably wants to know, correct?
Right.
You can definitely tell that he is one of the partners. You can definitely tell that maybe that's a better approach for the auditor to be able to do that. Or
to. That's before it gets finalized, you
I
fix
think
it
so.
in-house first.
So the committee can ask
Committee can
questions.
ask that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll take care of you, Helen.
Thank
But,
you.
Ms. Turner, it's not gonna be finalized on the 18th, is it?
No.
No, it's not finalized on the 18th, but I think when Helen is finalizing his comments is he's going to report. Sorry, because he's done his portion. He's reported to you, and then you all have to accept it, accept his findings. But what she's saying is that staff doesn't get a chance to attest or question or
The
defend
deficiencies.
it before he actually presented to you.
Can they go to the meetings like Ms. Martinez?
All
can
meetings
she-
are open to the public. All meetings are open to the public. So Helen's invited, is anyone else invited to that? They cannot participate, but they can listen to the meeting, yes.
Like, can they ask us a question?
You
and
may
then
ask
we-
whatever you like.
No, but like,
But
Ms. Helen, if she has a problem with him, she can say, Ms. Cantu, this is that, can I turn around and tell the auditor,
She can sit here and you can say it, but again, she can't participate, but because it's your meeting, she can witness the meeting.
or
she
any
can't
other
participate.
employee?
I'd just like to point out, and like I said, in the experience that I have, the auditors would always write down the deficiencies, go to management and say, these are the deficiencies we have found. And then the one that caused the deficiency would be notified, and they would have a chance to either rebut or fix the problem.
Exactly.
In this case, I have never been given that opportunity. So that's what when the audit committee meets with the auditing firm, just let them be aware that we need this to happen.
Okay. Committee?
Thank you for.
Thank you, Helen.
Okay. Moving on to new business, and I would like to remind the council that any presenters on these items do have the floor. I ask that you not interrupt. I will give everybody the opportunity for comments or questions, one at a time, so that it cuts down on any kind of confusion. So we're moving on to item 3B. Consideration and action to approve the Floresville Volunteer EMS Emergency Medical Services petition to establish the Wilson County Emergency Services District Number 4 pursuant to Chapter 775. And we have Mary here. Mary Hernandez.
Did you get that? Again, good evening, Mayor, Council, and citizens. Thank you for giving this opportunity again to present to y'all. People were asking, why does Wilson County EMS need to become an ESD now? Why now? We cover the largest area of the county. We have 381 square miles, and if this ESD passes, we'll have another 30 added to our coverage area. We responded to nearly 900 emergency calls, 911 calls in 2018, and approximately 425 of those were in the city of Floresville. As the county and Floresville continue to grow, the need for our services has significantly increased and will continue to climb. Think about it, in the past 5 years, a lot has happened in our area. A tornado hit our city. A hurricane was headed our way and decided to make a quick turn in one other direction. And we can't forget our mass shooting on November 5th, 2017. We were very fortunate that we were able to handle all these incidents, and we will continue to handle and continue to work. But we now have to be ready and prepared to, it's no longer where, now it's when. So we have to stay ready and efficient to that. Our volunteers are getting fewer and fewer. There was a time when, I remember, when you were a volunteer in the city of Floresville, and you were working in the city of Floresville, you had a call, whether it was a fire call or an EMS call, your boss would allow you to go. Well, we no longer have that luxury. It's really dependent on our volunteers. Our insurance payments can no longer keep up with the equipment and vehicle costs. This ESD funding will allow our investments for better life-saving equipment, vehicles, and of course, most definitely personnel. And ESD will sustain our community based on EMS and will continue to serve the benefits of all residents and their families. I come here asking for your support, and just know that if this does pass, we will have town hall meetings throughout the county for citizens that have questions on why we're wanting to do this and what will happen, what changes will be, and there will be no changes. It's just not going to be a taxing agency.
Now, I'll start some questioning. If you get our approval, everything goes forward, you will be on the ballot in November?
November the 5th, for the November ballot. And so the citizens still have a say-so. Yes, we had a petition going on, and we needed 100 signatures, and that was just to get it on the ballot. And these signatures had to come from residents in our service area, and that were registered voters and had property in our area. So now that that has been approved by the commissioners on Monday, all that was verified and all, they gave us their approval on Monday, this past week Monday. Now it's getting the approval from the city, since it involves the citizens of Floresville as well.
And I'm going a little bit further ahead. If passed in November, how fast would this go into effect?
Oh, it doesn't go, it takes a while because of course the tax base has already went out in October, so it won't affect, go back. Then the following year, it's added to their taxes, and then in the following year, so we're gonna have 18 months before we actually start even seeing any tax funding at all, depending on that. So it takes a while. We're looking at like a 2-year turnaround before we could even start seeing any kind of funding.
Okay. Councilman Jimenez?
Okay, my question is, okay, how is this gonna work? It's a city and county. Are the taxes gonna be a taxing entity for the city and the county as a whole? What happens if the city passes it and the county doesn't pass it?
Well,
doesn't get passed when it's on the ballot?
It's on the ballot. It's a county-wide. It's county. It's on the elections of that November 11th.
It's gonna be county, city?
And so yes, it's in one ballot. It's not just a separate ballot for here, it's a ballot for there. No, it's one. Because it'll be the ESD, it's gonna be for our service area. And Floresville is part of our service area.
And how is it gonna affect is it gonna be a separate entity on the ballot, for your taxes? And how much is it gonna cost per 1,000 or,
What would it, how it works is you're gonna vote for if it passes, and it's 10 cents per 100. So let's say, for example, your house is valued at your pump's valued at $80,000. It'd be $80 more added to your taxes per year. And it can't go higher than 10 cents. It can't go any further than that. It could, of course, at some point, you're looking at dropping it from the 10, and, you know, once you've built up what you need. But, you know, that's up to that, there'll be a board for that, an ESD board that the commissioners choose to have. We have no say-so on that.
Excuse me. Other council?
Madam, I have a question. Okay, so the EMS and then the fire department has a separate one. Is it 80 for one and 80 for the other, or
Correct.
80 altogether?
No, 80 for each.
So that would be
We-
160.
Right, so we had looked, we had in the beginning, had talked about making, just having one. Our service areas are different. Excuse me. They're different, so I cover up to Poth, you know, all the way to Atascosa County line from Poth, and then out of Karnes County line. So we have a bigger service area than the city, than the fire department does. And then we looked at it, it wouldn't be to our best interest to do that, because then we're locked in as one, and it wouldn't be enough funding for both.
So one can pass and the other one cannot?
Exactly.
Mrs. Martinez, did you have a question? No, okay, good. Thank you, Ceci. Thank, Mr. Ortiz.
My question is if it passes, the city of Floresville will not be funding the fire department
No, or
nor
EMS.
the EMS.
Correct. In 2 years, you could say, oh, you know what?
Right,
We don't have to worry about, they have
Right.
their ESD now.
absolutely.
Right.
So those funds, the city of Floresville can be utilizing those funds,
Question.
correct?
Now, you can be happy to still give us some money, but.
No, no, on the contrary, we're gonna be asking for some money from that lease.
We would,
And that is something that we, that down the road, because we kind of touched base a little bit on it, that is down the road, we can sit down and talk about that, because when it was written, I mean, we're not gonna go away, I mean, we're gonna still be there, the building's gonna still be used.
No,
We
but-
still, you know, still plan to stay Wilson County EMS, but, I mean, it's, you know, we hated to do this, but this was our last resort. I know the city can't say, okay, we're gonna, you know, supply you guys, we're gonna cover you guys.
No.
It's hard, I know
I
that.
wish you could.
Yeah, exactly, and then that's kind of like when I met with the mayor, and some of you guys, I've kind of talked base a little bit about it. It was to kind of give you a heads up, this is what we want to do, and it's like our last resort on doing it. But of course, this meeting, I mean, we're the last ones. We're the last volunteer service in the Wilson County.
Right,
The other two EMS are already an ESD.
right.
one other statement is that, there is some issues. The county approved it, and that's wonderful. But the actual property that you're on is city property.
Correct.
So we have a little bit more invested into this, and so if passed,
Right.
then we may need to negotiate the lease of the land as opposed to where it is right now.
Exactly, and that is something that, that we could look forward towards, you know, as things progress with this. That, you know, it gives us the 2 years, if this passes, to sit down and say, okay, well, now you're no longer a volunteer service, we're gonna stay nonprofit. But, you know, yes, that is the lease, so the lease that is written, does it become obsolete? Because as far as I know, it was a 100-year lease that was to the EMS. Now, that was way before my time, so I don't know, I just, what I hear say.
Long before mine. So what we're looking at is that there would be some negotiation there.
Correct.
Even the possibility of giving the land or.
No.
or leasing.
Where did you say?
Yes.
I live it.
Well, I mean-
have a question also.
Yes, it's been there for, I mean, since 1973, so.
Mrs. Cantu?
Mary, so if y'all go into this ESD, can y'all get out of it and then, I mean,
The
will we
citizens
get-
have to vote us out. It's voted in, it has to be voted out.
like if we would just wanted the EMS just for the city, if our city gets bigger and we just want y'all for the city?
Then that's something that we gotta sit down and talk, because once the ESD board is sit, we can say, you know what, we want this EMS truck just for the city of Floresville. We'll buy the EMS truck, but I only want it service for the city of Floresville. This is all new to me, I mean, this totally is new, this, learning how to this ESD has really been an eye-opener for myself. Yeah.
Any other questions? A lot of work has been put into this, even just this far.
Yeah.
So, any citizens' comments pertaining to this issue?
And also, speaking of citizens, we will be having town hall meetings throughout our service area, so the citizens do have will have a time to ask the questions that comes up at that time.
Okay. So the item on the agenda is to approve the Floresville Volunteer EMS Emergency Medical Services petition to establish the Wilson County Emergency Services District 4. Do I have a motion or any other comments?
So moved, Mayor.
I have a motion on the floor by Mr. Ortiz. Do I have a second? Seconded by Mr. Jimenez. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you so much, Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you very
for
much,
all
Mary.
you're doing, Mary.
Thank you, Mary, for all your work.
And the mayor and city council, when they hold the public hearings, if we can encourage them to host them here.
Yes.
And then we can invite the public as well as yourselves so that you can hear the public hearing.
I think when I did meet with the mayor about this, that's one of the things she said, bring up, she said, we want to happy to have y'all have one of your town hall meetings here in City Hall for the citizens here, and of course, we're going to post as well, and then the county, the service area. So yeah, that will definitely be one of the areas we want to come to.
And also, there's going to have to be some advertisement, and so when we're hosting those, and just talking points, we're not going to be supporting or endorsing one way or the other, but talking points, because you can imagine people are going to be asking, what is this? And so Mary has agreed to prepare some talking points that we can put on our Facebook as well as social media paths. And then we're going to ask the attorney to get some kind of language to make sure that it doesn't look like an endorsement one way or the other, so we can put some kind of disclaimer. But we want to provide people with that information, and then we need to be able to duplicate that and pass it out.
Isn't this an endorsement?
No,
So it's not an endorsement, you're allowing us to do this in the city.
You're giving permission.
Right. Giving permission.
You're not endorsing.
It's just part of the requirements, there's steps that have to be
Correct.
followed, and in order for them to be able to get on the ballot, this is one of the steps that has to be followed.
And it'll be in the county ballot?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you all, thank you very much.
Moving on to item 3C, consideration action to approve the Floresville Volunteer Fire Department petition to establish the Wilson County Emergency Services District Number 5. We have our chief.
Good evening, City Council, citizens of Floresville. The Floresville Fire Department has been, well, was part of the city until a few years ago. It's been in here for over 100 years. And at this time, we receive funding from the city, some funding. Some of the other funding we receive is from a walking dinner. We don't charge people for our services. And again, volunteers are short. And they're great. The ones we have are great, you know. But then they have families, they have work, they have other things that they need to provide to their families. And it's hard for everyone to, you know, rally around when we do that thing. We'll provide the service to the city if this comes up, you know, as an ESD. Even if we don't get voted in come November, we will still be there for the city and the surrounding area that covers just 224 square miles. It's more than the city. So we're here for your support.
Right now, what do you cover?
We cover right now the city of Floresville. We go south to what you call the curve, come back west toward the county line along 97. We go back north along Atascosa, Wilson County, to Bear County, back come across the 536, and back up north. We come across the County Road 120 up on the west side of the river. And then we come across to 97 east, and 307 and 1922, and back south.
Right now, you have service areas in Nav,
Yes.
Eagle Creek.
No.
No more?
No, they have their own.
Eagle Creek is District 2.
I know, but that's what I'm saying, they have their own
Yes, sir.
and everything. And what are you, what are you proposing to grow bigger,
Actually,
or keep it the same?
no, I actually would like to eventually grow to where we start paying people, bringing on full-time, firefighters.
No, I understand that, but is the area gonna be the
No,
same?
no, no, we're gonna keep the same area. We're not gonna take on anything else if possible. We're gonna keep the same coverage, which was the city for.
Statement, how does our annexation affect? And if and when our annexation goes through?
Even when our annexation goes into effect, it is Floresville, and this will be a Floresville Fire Department. So as we grow, his service area will grow. So his definition of Floresville is the city of Floresville and probably some of our ETJ.
In other words, we're coming to the whole area, state and all. So it doesn't matter if the city grows, we're still there for the growth of the city.
I guess what I'm really getting at, okay, the service area that you're getting, that's gonna be your tax entity only. It's not gonna be from Stockdale, Lavernia, no other areas. It's
We're
gonna
staying
be-
inside right now what we have. The
Yeah.
area, the
That's the
boundaries we
people
have
that are
right
gonna
now.
get taxed on this.
Correct,
Okay. City, part of the county.
yes.
Mrs. Martinez?
Yes, Toby, I have a question. If hopefully this goes through for y'all guys, and I know y'all work hard at it, do you have plan B, like the staff and training and all of that already? Or, I mean, are you already working on that, or do you have, maybe, what is your plan B on staff and training and all?
You're talking about if it doesn't pass?
No, I'm saying if it does.
If it
I
does,
mean,
yes, ma'am. At this
if
time, we
everything
do
goes
have-
the way that y'all want this to happen.
At this time, we do have a training officer, which, is in charge of providing training to all of us, and that's gonna be kept. We're probably gonna, like I said, bring on some people, pay them stipends, before getting bigger, before start paying for sure, full-time. So that's gonna stay, probably improve.
And I know y'all do a good job, and I really thank y'all for doing that for us.
And the other thing I wanted to bring up is the fact that Ms. Turner asked about, are we gonna have to get a ladder truck or anything like that? Well, this is kind of working toward that.
Because
We got a lot of buildings that are really tall.
That's what happens.
And then Riverbend, if I'm correct, I think it's 100 more.
Yes, Riverbend is growing quite quickly, and they're going to do 77 homes this year, with over 120 homes for next year. And so those are growing, and most of those are most of the two-story homes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, and before I recognize that motion, any citizen comments that come to that? Okay, I have any other citizen,
Thank you, Toby.
council comments? Okay, if not, I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Jimenez, do I have a second?
I second.
Seconded by Mrs. Martinez, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. 5-0, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I do have to say that these two organizations, EMS and Fire Department, are two of the most well-respected organizations, I think, in all of South Texas. So thank y'all so much.
Thank
you very much.
I would appreciate if y'all spread the word out that we're coming up, the elections are coming up in November, and, they can help us out, please.
All right,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. Y'all have a great evening. All right, moving on to item 3D. Consideration and action to approve USDA Plaza Well Project Engineering Agreement. Mrs. Turner?
Yes, Mayor, I'm going to say so if you don't mind, but however, I just wanted to know that all three of the next items that you have in your agenda, item D, E, and F, have to do with the application that we've been talking about for the Plaza Well. We have to do an engineering agreement, and M&S is here to present to you. He has some information so that we can just have an overview of exactly what this application is, for this agreement going forward. And so, Brady, you want to pass those out?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Ms. Turner asked me to kind of refresh council on the projects that we have included in this loan application. And I think I've gone over these projects with you before, but there are some slight differences from what we presented a few months ago. So the first one, and the one that's been is kind of the main focus of the application for the loan is of course the new well at the Plaza site. As you know, we had to shut the other well down a while back for a couple different reasons, and decided that the well would not be repairable, and we made the decision to move forward with the new well. That's the first project here, and that's going to be the first one that we get going once we've already got the well designed, the new well, and it's already permitted with TCEQs, but we have to get the application closed before we can go out to bid and start construction. We plan to start that one, construction on that one in early fall this year. And you'll see the cost down there, and that number is not only construction cost, but that's kind of the total share of the cost of the whole loan program. So this is this project's share of administrative cost and engineering, construction, inspections, and all those things wrapped together. So the construction cost is not what is shown there. It's somewhat lower, but we had to include all the different costs in the loan application. So that number is this project's share of the total.
You're talking about the new water well?
Yes, ma'am.
It went up, right, from the last time that I had this page?
The actual construction cost, which I think is what we've discussed in the past, is basically the same. It's about $650,000 for construction. But again, this includes a bunch of other costs. I wanted to show each project's total share of the total loan amount.
So it went up 400,000?
The construction cost, we're still thinking construction cost is about the same, about $650,000. There are other administrative costs and whatnot that are add on top of that in that number. So when we get bids back in October, for instance, it won't be this high because it's just the construction cost that we're getting bids on. So it'll be more in the range that we talked about previously, in about the $650,000.
So you're saying 650,000. That's just the construction cost, but the figures you have in front of us, it adds engineering.
All of that.
Materials.
There's legal fees, there's engineering costs, there's inspection costs, there's
surveying, modeling, design.
And can't you give us a breakdown on it? I mean,
I can't, and
we want to know exactly what it's gonna cost.
Yeah.
We just can't take just figures with that.
No, what they're doing is putting what this portion of it costs. So this is, this $1 million is everything it costs to do that part of the well. Then there's another section that talks about the other components that's in this, because the $2.5 million is not just the well itself.
right.
Okay, so we're doing the well and some other components. But if we just said, all we're gonna do is do the well, then that's what everything doing, that's $1 million. It doesn't cost just $1 million just to do it, but you have to put everything in there that's included.
Right.
It's the full
The
package.
question is, they want to know what if it's $650,000 to do the well, that should be engineering fees and everything together to do that. If it's gonna be over, they want to break down why it's $450,000 over.
The way it's broken.
Yeah,
The cost that we've shared previously, which was that the $650,000 number that's being used, was strictly the construction cost of the well.
Yeah, when you ask for the monies, you don't ask just for the cost of the construction. It's broken out between engineering, design, modeling, surveying, bond counsel.
Financial advisor fees, there's
There's
fees.
just a lot of fees. And think about when you build a house, you get someone to design it, you either hire an architect or.
I think that's what the council is asking for, correct me if I'm wrong, a breakdown of what, instead of just, estimated cost.
Is there a breakdown?
It's in the PDR.
breakdown of what
Yeah.
we're looking at.
The breakdown is in the PER, which he submitted already, but I don't have this, so I'm assuming y'all don't have a breakout.
Yeah, I apologize. I was gonna keep this at kind of a high level and just
Yeah.
run through the project descriptions, but
Because,
we do have that information available. with the
yeah,
city.
because when you're putting a figure here and
Sure.
you're saying this, it means you're gonna cover this. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and that's the intent of showing this number and showing that the loan for $2.5 million covers every cost that would be associated with the well. And so that's what this number here is, not just the construction.
Well, hopefully you can throw us a breakdown.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
And we have it, again, I just didn't prepare this in that much detail. You got it.
Oh, look, see, USDA, he's got the PEI.
Wow.
Yeah, he worked out
See?
yours.
No, he's not.
His
Oh,
timing,
there you go.
his timing.
Excuse me, I would suggest if we could make copies
Yeah, sure.
for everybody right now.
I can do that.
That'd be fine.
And that
I should get the right exhibits up here.
Your
That's
timing
my
is.
Jake State.
Just go through one summary. See this is-
Yes, it's straight up.
Yeah, that's the most information.
While we
Okay, so,
wait, yeah, while we wait for those, I'm gonna let you go ahead and go forward and some more of the presentation until we get those things.
right,
Should we
so,
go on with the presentation when we need?
Well,
Yeah, we could go on.
You can? Thank you, George.
if we can go on with each project.
just a
until we
description,
get
sure.
done.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and there's 5 projects total. The Plaza Well was the first one. The next one is another familiar one, is the rehabilitation of the B Street well. I believe that well was drilled in 2008. I may be wrong on that number, but it has not been maintained, or not been rehabbed since it was drilled in its time, particularly with the struggles with the Plaza Well. I think we learned a lesson there, and we're encouraging the city to keep up with maintenance of that well, and so now's the time to do that.
Brady,
Yes.
is the B Street Will a component of the 2.5 million?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was just Plaza Will.
No. All 5 projects make up the 2.5 million. The Plaza is just $1 million.
All right.
Okay, so we're going on,
We're on B Street?
Yes, ma'am.
the B Street well.
And so,
Council, we can hear more of y'all than we can as presenters, please.
with that in mind, what we'll have to do is take the well out of service, video it, and get an idea of what all needs to be done in the rehab. So, we don't have a video of that well yet. That's part of the project.
That's B Street.
Yes, sir. The one about.
And make sure if we get a video that we could have a hard copy of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Last time, we paid a lot of money for the video over there. We didn't even get a video.
Sure.
For the Plaza well, we didn't get anything.
Okay.
So we didn't know what was going on with the arrangements. We still don't.
Okay, so we do have them in front of us, the figures of the construction costs.
Okay, so if you look on that sheet that Ms. Turner passed around, you'll see that the Plaza well cost is $710. And below that, below those 5 projects, you'll see a construction subtotal. And you'll see another series of lines of costs. So those costs below were dispersed in the 5 projects. Thank you.
Can you repeat that?
Yes, So, looking at this sheet, you have items 1 through 5, which are the 5 projects, right? And so you have a construction subtotal cost of, I need glasses, 1.6 million. It's pretty small, I apologize for that. So, and then there are line items for mobilization, insurance, and bonding, which are essentially construction costs. Water system improvement and building improvements, total construction cost of 2.024 million. Okay, and so there, below that, you'll see another subtotal of 441,400. Are you following? It's the last one before, above the grand total.
Yes.
So there's included engineering, PER, materials testing, inspections, legal. That 441,000 was then again dispersed amongst the 5 projects in proportional share. So, for instance, the Plaza Well project being the most costly project of the bunch got the largest share, as a proportional share of that total cost.
So do you add it to the 2 million, or do you just, the 441?
Well, yes, the grand total is the 2.024 million plus 441,000. That's where the total of 2,465 comes from.
And that's including the attorneys and all that?
That's total project cost, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And bond counts as well.
Yes.
Okay, questions? Council?
Yeah, sometimes that's hard to kind of wrap your arms around, or the other costs associated, but they're all necessary in the process.
Then, Brady, all the attachments that were provided to council also detail all the responsibilities of all the parties that are going to be involved.
In the agreement, yes, ma'am.
Yes, it does.
Yes, ma'am. And I think council has that agreement. I don't have a copy of the agreement.
Well, just so y'all know, under that line item, administrative, legal, financial services, where it has 68,000. But what's been submitted so far for bond counsel is 55,000 and 5,000 for legal, so we're 8,000 under.
So our attorney takes care of it as far as helps with all that.
I will help. I know that the bond counsel, however, is Mr. Coombs.
Yes.
Right. The
We'll
bond counsel,
have part in it.
Yes, I will.
Yes, but the
We're going
bond
to be
counsel
setting up
carries
the
it.
preparation, attending meetings, doing minutes, and all of that sort. Yes, we will.
right, she'll always be involved, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, and in front of you, council, you do have the agreement between the owner and engineer for professional services. Do you have any questions or any comments from the?
You want me to finish going through the description? I'm sorry. So B Street Well is just a rehabilitation project. It was actually in the previous package, but we had to pull it out when the Plaza Well went down. We couldn't have 2 wells down at once. So it was critical that got taken out. The next project is an interconnect with Oak Hills Water Supply. They have water lines very close. We plan to establish an interconnect with them on County Road 301 back behind Randolph Brooks. And an interconnect there will allow us to supplement supply to both the high and low pressure planes in the city in the case of urgent.
How much is that interconnect?
The total cost there is $382,000, and again, that's total project cost, not just construction.
Why is it so high? I mean, we got a hookup right there at Walmart, right behind Walmart, I mean,
Not from Oak Hills.
from Oak Hills to Walmart?
We're on the other side of 181 behind Randolph Brooks.
Oak Hills has a connection right there by CVS, across
Yeah,
that
but-
street by
But
CVS.
behind Walmart, we have a big water line there. City does.
That's a city water line.
Yeah.
We need to connect to Oak Hills water, and that's where it truncates, is right there across from CVS.
Yeah, but that's not going underneath the road or nothing, that's going alongside of it.
Correct, and so we need to be able to make the connection to agree to them, so it'll help levelize. So we won't have that issue again, where we have to worry, if we get down to one, well.
But it's gonna be almost $500,000 to do that?
Yes, because we have to be able to do that, because eventually we have to, you're right, Gerard, where we have to get the connection, that huge connection by Plaza Well, we're gonna have to offer under 181.
That's the bulk of the cost, is going from from 301 behind Randolph Brooks across 181, tying to the city's large main right there.
No, but you wouldn't have to go underneath 181 because We have water right behind Walmart. What,
The city does.
The city does.
Oak Hills doesn't.
I understand that, but that's, how far is that? You know, that's 300 feet, 400 feet? For half a million dollars?
There's I think the fee's almost $100,000 to offer underneath 181. Because
But we don't have to go underneath one.
if you're going to connect to our water system from Oak Hills, you do. You do. You do. And we've had, I know, the attorney went to the meeting, and Oak Hills is amenable to it, but we have to pay for it.
Are we gonna be using that water or not?
It's a
This is
supplementary,
If we need
it's a
it.
supplementary.
Emergency.
No, don't say word emergency. As a backup plan or supplementary to our water system. So we only turn on that hose when we need it, and it's a supplementary use. If I say emergency, it's a whole other thing.
For instance, as I said a minute ago, it will be able to feed in two different directions in the system. So for instance, if the B Street well goes down for some reason, we can open up that connection with Oak Hills and serve the customers that would have been served by the B Street well. Or if Plaza well goes down or something happens at the Plaza plant, same way, we can open up the connection to run that way and back up that supply.
So one of the problems we have right now is anytime we take a Plaza, anytime we take something offline, our pressure drops, which is why you start getting something, you get the calls all the time. I know maybe we get them, and I see the two councilmen down there shaking their head. Anytime our pressure drops, when we pick it back up, the sediment goes and people start getting brown water. Well, I'm not getting brown water. And so what this would do is allow our system to stay charged, to be filled, and we can actually supplement it. Then we won't have the problems when I need to take something off, not just because it went down, because I need to repair it, I need to clean it out, I need to scuba dive it. I have a supplementary resource, and it's going to help loop our system, which is not looped now, and we can maintain that pressure. Now, because Oak Hills is at a higher elevation, Lord knows I'm not an engineer, but it is a higher elevation, their system is pressurized a lot better than ours, and it'll give us that option. And this is the opportunity for us to take it so that we can have that option to be able to take, when we're ready to take the Plaza well off or the hospital well off again, we can supplement it and we won't have to do that. And we are growing, and so we need to think about it as a future that we would do that. Now, I think in Oak Hills, this was there, is it a 12-inch or 14-inch line that's there? It's a 12-inch line, that's a pretty big line. That they had anticipated that, we just never actually made the connection. So we're hoping to be able to do that. We met with the engineer several different times and their water person to allow that to happen, for us to take this opportunity at this time so that we can have the maintenance going forward and take these other things offline when necessary.
It's important to remember this time too, to be regular use. It's just in the case that we need it.
And for future purposes, after we have all of these completed, then you can take one off to maintain it so that we can maintain our wells a lot better than we have been doing.
Yes, ma'am.
And our water pressure as well.
Could we get another estimate to see, just to connect? Or since we already have the EMNS?
Okay, so the preliminary engineering report, which is what he reported on
Because
earlier.
$500,000 is a lot of money to connect it just from under the road.
They have, okay, so our engineer designed it, and then the USDA engineers reviewed their numbers and approved their preliminary engineering report, which was a major thing for us to do. And so the USDA has approved their numbers to say that their numbers, they seem to be reasonable. Now, what it's actually going to cost us, we don't know until we send out to bid, but they have approved their preliminary engineering report. And some of the other costs is there, it's not just engineering here, we have to do a survey, there's a geologist, if you can imagine they're doing for that. We had to test to make sure that the land's there. I don't want to do an archaeologist kind of thing, but those kind of things we have to be able to do as well as the testing, because they're outside entities, it's not just M&S surveyors and things such as that to make sure that we're only building on our property. Those kind of things have to be part of its cost process.
Any other comments?
Fourth project is the rehabilitation of the ground storage tank at the hospital site. And that was an issue with TCQ in their last visit that came up. And this is just going to be funds to recoat, repaint, and make some other repairs, replace a ladder and a roof and the like.
I have questions.
Yes, sir.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
How did we ever get to that point with rust and holes in the roof?
It's just a lack of maintenance. But staff is responsible for maintaining their
Right,
infrastructure.
because it's water, correct?
Right.
It's water. Does it overflow?
Are you talking about in particular the picture with the rust running down the side?
Yeah, absolutely.
It could have overflowed
Prevent that, that's what he's asking.
in the past. That can be any number of things.
Tell me.
Put you on the spot.
That's why we pay you, right?
I don't know if you can answer that. I would think you would be speculating.
Right.
Pretty much.
Well, he's,
He can give you
I can tell you
a
that
thought.
I'm a welder and water and metal do not mix.
Right. So if there's a nick in that coating, when the coating was applied, there, you would see rust if that steel got wet.
Right,
Correct?
but first you see it a little bit and you attack it and you take care of it and you continue and now you let it.
But it wasn't.
I agree.
No, what I'm trying to tell you, sir, is that there's some accountability here that we're spending, holes in the roof, coating, paint.
Accountability for who?
Absolutely.
For city staff.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And this is the message that we're trying to convey every time we talk, is that maintenance is extremely important. And if that has not been practiced in the past, we have to catch up to problems like this when they fester.
How long has M&S been on this project? Since 2015 or before?
On this
Let's
last
talk
year.
about the engineering part. They've been with us a lot longer.
We've been working as an engineer for the city since maybe 13 or 14.
No, they
Long
were,
time on this particular.
But on this project last
I
year,
think your question was, this particular project, how long they worked with the city of Floresville?
No, this particular project.
Okay, so I know we were in the event center and we investigated for some time as to how to address the plaza bubble when we went out 18 months ago. And what we wanted to do